Hola everybody, and welcome to Dipper and Mabel versus the Future.
Now, whenever Gravity Falls does something weird, fans love to say that the staff of the show is somehow pulling a prank on them. And normally, I don't like buying into that sort of thing. But now I know for certain that Gravity Falls is deliberately trying to mess with me. I mean, how could you premiere a super important episode right in the middle of our month of Halloween? Why would you do this to me? What gives, guys? Oh well, we'll make this episode fit by inserting random Halloween references throughout the video. We can even keep a counter at the bottom of the screen. Let's do this.
Brilliant. Well, we start off with Dipper and Mabel being all cute together, and Mabel makes an announcement that their 13th birthday is in a week. Apparently, everybody is having something good happen to them in that upcoming week, but things may not turn out quite as they think it will.
And by the time this video gets uploaded, Halloween will be only a week away, so we also have something good in the near future.
Yay! Dipper and Mabel are planning on having a big birthday bash, which instead of being held in the shack, will be held in the school's gym. But before they have a chance to get any further on their plans, Ford calls Dipper in a very odd way.
Dipper, my face is on fire!
And tells him that the rift is cracking and that he needs help on a mission. Mabel approves and they head off.
Mabel gets to the high school, and while she's there, she finds out that high school is apparently a really miserable experience. This makes her grow scared of the future. I noticed that a lot of kids shows like to have at least one episode that talks about the fear of growing up. While it's not a bad idea, I do tend to find these episodes a little bit overdone.
Well, we wouldn't have had the episode without it, so deal with it.
The episode doesn't do it too bad, and I don't think it's a bad idea. By the end, we get something creative from the episode, but the fact that it uses this idea does mean that I'm probably not going to consider this one of my favorite episodes ever.
So Ford, being overly dramatic, shows Dipper a giant spacecraft hidden under Gravity Falls. And also, Mabel's plan for the party isn't going exactly as she hoped, but she can't contact Dipper because of bad reception.
Now you might want to stand back. This magnet gun could rip the fillings out of a man's mouth from 100 feet.
Considering the very candy-oriented holiday that's coming up, I don't think you want to carry that gun around.
True.
Don't worry, I've been down here countless times. All the aliens have been dead for millions of years. Probably.
Okay, how much do you want to bet that the aliens aren't dead?
Well, since I already watched this episode, I'm gonna bet no. They are dead.
I guess I should give this episode credit for not using that line of dialogue for a glaringly obvious plot twist.
Yeah.
This is so cool. But first, let me take a selfie.
Ford and Dipper need to retrieve some alien adhesive from this UFO so that they can fix the rift. Also, Mabel goes to deliver invitations to her friend's house, which is partially destroyed for some reason.
Gravity did just fall, 4 days ago? Houses were floating too, don't forget.
Or maybe it was the result of an invasion of giant evil jack-o'-lanterns coming into the town on a Halloween-themed rampage.
I can't believe I have to put up with this. I'm so done with this, and I'm so done with you. Why don't I just get up and keep walking? I can't deal with this. Oh.
Mabel's friends won't be able to make it to her party because of obligations. And after that sad scene, oh look, it's that portal triangle shape again. The subject of Dipper's future comes up, and Ford reveals that he wants Dipper to stay in Gravity Falls and become his apprentice.
Ford, okay. I think I just need to sit down for a second and talk about my opinions on him after this episode. Okay, so yeah, Ford is great and all, but what I never really liked during this episode in particular is the way that he's encouraging Dipper. The things that he's telling him to do are not exactly what one would call healthy. I mean, leaving your family behind to become an apprentice with a man you met a week ago or two doesn't exactly seem like the number one option. Ford is literally encouraging Dipper to leave all his family and his sister and friends back home behind. And he isn't even 13 yet. What kind of uncle are you? Would you do that? Who do you think you are? I'm just gonna say this. And I can tell that half of you are going to agree with me and the other half of you are going to be mad. But Ford, in a sense, is kind of unintentionally being a little bit of a bad guy here. I don't like to admit it, but if you look what we have in front of us, you gotta say it's kind of spot on. If you remember a while back, I mentioned that Ford is in the pictures with the antagonists in the intro. That may just be coming into light now. I know all that is really stupid, and I'm probably just being absolutely stupid like I do with the rest of my life, but honestly, if this guy is asking a 12-year-old great-grandson to leave literally everything behind and stay in some far-off place with him, and encouraging him to put himself in harm's way, and disconnect himself from his sister, that's not exactly what I would call all a good thing. I get that Ford probably thinks that Dipper and Mabel's relationship is a lot like him and his brothers, where apparently it's suffocating, but he shouldn't be imposing this onto a 12-year-old. And also, I could very much be completely wrong about this too, but I've heard that somewhere it was found out that Bill likes to eat memories or something similar to that, and it's been a theory for not too long now that Bill ate Ford's good memories with his brother, or maybe edited them up somehow. So now all he has is this bad mumbo jumbo about Stanley, and he's inserting this negative approach into Dipper. He's looking for something to latch onto. First he had his brother, who he was with, then he had Filford, who abandoned him, and now he's been alone for a while, and now he's looking to latch onto Dipper next. Once again, I could be completely wrong, spouting out nonsense, but if you put it all together, it kind of makes sense. I'll bring this up again not too long from now in the episode.
Well, if you want my thoughts on this, I'd say that this scene, more than anything, establishes Ford's character as what I'm going to call a lone hero. He's well aware of his high intellect and the power that he has to change the world, but all this has done is given him a very big ego. He believes that destiny has something very special planned for him that needs to be sought after at all costs, and this is his greatest weakness. It's what led to him being tricked by Bill, and it's what led to Stan pushing him into the portal. He's so enamored with the idea that fate will remember him as one of the greats that he's willing to do whatever it takes to achieve it, no matter how destructive or emotionally damaging his actions may be. And now, in Dipper, he sees a continuation of this destiny, another person who will continue along the path to greatness long after Ford's death. In his eyes, things like personal safety and other people are barely important compared to the destiny that he's still convinced awaits him. And I'm almost willing to bet that if he didn't think that Dipper was somehow important to his destiny, then he wouldn't have associated with him at all.
Him thinking of himself so highly is going to be his demise. He refuses to tell anyone but Dipper about things. He doesn't tell Stanley about the rift, he doesn't tell Mabel about the rift. I bet he wouldn't have told Mabel about Bill if she hadn't known either. Spoiler alert! At the end of the episode, this does come back to haunt him. Mabel didn't know a thing about the rifts. She goes over and hands it off to somebody because she doesn't know what it is. That somebody happened to be Bill Cipher, and now we're on the end of the world. Whoop-de-doo! Good for you! Hope you're real proud of yourself, Ford! 10 out of 10! Great job! You deserve an award! Ha 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 ha!
But while we can say all these negative things about his philosophy and his mindset, the fact that we were able to go on such a long ramble about his character just goes to show what a well-developed character he's turning out to be. I've said before that Gravity Falls has strong characters, and this is proof of that. As unhealthy as Ford's actions may be in-universe, to us, the audience, it's a sign of good writing, and one that I really have to respect.
True. Deep characters can be extremely frustrating, though. I'm living with it.
Dipper and Ford get confronted by security droids.
They detect adrenaline. You simply have to not feel any fear.
Well, now's a terrible time not to feel any fear. It's almost Halloween!
Yeah, I think Dipper can't even do it, so...
The droids capture Ford and take him away, and for the next few scenes, the episode tries as hard as possible to make you think that they're going to kill Ford, and the montage of Ford flying around getting the daylights kicked out of him goes on so long that you actually start to wonder if they won't actually go through with it. But no, Ford's safe.
Of course he's safe! What are you talking about? This is Disney! Anyway, Ford tries to inflate Dipper's ego even more, and he accepts his offer to be his apprentice. At the same time, Mabel is trying to cope. She's saying how reliable Dipper is, and then overhears him deciding to leave Mabel behind and stay in Gravity Falls. This doesn't go over too well with her.
Tell me it's not true, Dipper. Tell me you were joking. Ford's apprentice? Seriously?
This is a huge opportunity for me.
Well, it's a horrible opportunity for me. You're the only person I could count on, and now you're leaving me too?
She gets sad and mad at him at the same time, and eventually runs off in frustration.
Now, we've already devoted a nice extended rant explaining why Ford's philosophy is terrible, but that doesn't make the opposite philosophy any better. Mabel wants everyone to stay right by her, and while that's a perfectly natural emotion to feel, it is something that could very well come back to haunt her. While Ford and Dipper should not have blindsided her with this, and should have stepped back and slowed down, Mabel's mentality of, I want everyone to stay by me and things to stay the same, isn't healthy either. Opportunities open up, and circumstances change, and you need to have at least some ability to adjust to that. And sure enough, just like how Bill Cipher preyed on Ford's destiny-centered mindset, he also preys on Mabel's fear of change, making her give up the rift in hopes of making summer last forever.
Mabel actually acts more like a kid than Dipper should. It's hard letting things go. Mabel hasn't had to do this before. It's a completely new aspect of life for her, and this is the third time she has to do it today. And for her age, this is a perfectly normal reaction. Denial. Dipper is just trying to grow up much too fast. Mabel is trying to keep him back where he should be, but I don't know how good of a job that's going to be in the end.
But really, who wants summer to last forever? If that happens, we won't get Halloween!
I'm done. I can't. No.
In the final scenes of the episode, a possessed Blendin Blamblin comes to Mabel and offers to make the summer last forever, so long as she gives him the rift. But surprise!
Wait, he isn't dead. Shy surprise, there's a gun to your head, and death in his eyes.
It's Bill, ready to bring out the end of the world.
Bill finally gets his physical form, which is the same as his non-physical form, and the episode ends. This episode was all around really, really great. We had a lot of major character and plot development, and I can tell that we're going to be hearing about this weird Mageddon for the next few episodes. And assuming from the promo that was released, it's gonna be a pretty big deal! But either way, I would give this episode a 4.5 out of 5. I would give it a whole 5, but the amount of stupidity that the characters had in this episode just ticked me off. I'm getting annoyed at fictional people! What's wrong with me? Nothing, because I'm Tumblr trash. That's what I am.
This isn't one of my favorite episodes of the show, but after having really looked into how it developed the characters, I think it's one of the show's best. This is one of those episodes that really hits home how much thought was put into the characters on this show. Everything develops naturally, and despite a few minor issues, I think it does the job pretty well. I give it a 4.3 out of 5. But next time on Gravity Falls, things are going to get interesting.